Yeah, totally. I think people are obviously going to want to know. So what happened? What changed? What was it that Deb shared with you, and how did that change? So I presume that's what you're going to go on to. That would be great.
Yes. So I love the fact that you called this the secret of everything, because it often feels when we're having these conversations like we are hiding a secret, which is never intentional. But it's what we talk about and what we share around the understanding of how life really works is something that's absolutely beyond the words. And that's why it feels like it's a secret, because we kind of say stuff like that and it's like, well, tell me what it is then. Tell me what changed for you. And so I will do the best that I can with the limitation of words that we have to explain what it was that Deb talked to me about and what I see now. So it was a very, very simple understanding of how life actually works. And yet the depths that we can go to with that are just beyond anything. So it was, for me particularly, it was around how our experience is created, which for me, I put that very simply, and it's thought. Thought creates our experience. So whatever thoughts are going on in our head is the experience that we'll have. And for 2 or 3 years for me, I was having a lot of thoughts around, I'm entirely responsible for everyone, I'm not good enough, I make mistakes, no one actually likes me. Those kinds of thoughts, and as you can probably imagine, those kinds of thoughts create not a great experience. And I'm sure anyone that's watching now or afterwards will resonate with some of those thoughts. I have no doubt that as human beings we all get those kinds of thoughts. And so I was having conversations with Deb around thoughts, particularly that's where we started, was the fact that we have thoughts in our head and then we get the feeling that goes with them. And equally on the flip side, we get some amazing thoughts. Like we have, I have moments where I'm watching the sunset, or even when I'm just sitting at home reading a book, and I have the most beautiful feelings because I'm clearly having some beautiful thinking. And so that was hugely what we explored for a long time, was how thoughts create our experience. And I really started to see that I'd gotten lost in insecure thinking. I'd gotten lost in anxious thinking. I'd really believed that in order to be okay, everybody around me had to do certain things. They had to behave in certain ways. I had to have money in the bank. I had to have a boyfriend. I had to have, I had to achieve things at work. And we build up a story of what a good life looks like. We kind of have a tick list, or at least this is how I have relationship, money coming in, people think I'm wonderful, I dress right, I have a good hairstyle, and we have our tick list of, if I have these things, then I'm okay. And what came about through the conversations I had with Deb, and certainly the things that I see a lot more now, is that okayness comes first. We are okay. That is our innate state. We are naturally okay. We are naturally clear-minded, peaceful, joyful, happiness, all the things that we say we're looking for in life. That's already what and who we are. And then we have a story that tells us we're not. And then we have a story that takes us away from experiencing that. And that was massively what came out for me as I was having those conversations with Deb, and she was doing some online courses and things like that at the time. So I was in a really fortunate position that she was emailing me every day with like little drips of this conversation. And it just, every day she was reminding me, you're okay. Your security, your happiness, your peace, your love, that's already yours. And it just, I just started to see that everywhere I looked. Like Deb just kept inviting me, see that you're okay first, and then notice that you have stories that tell you you're not. And so we just explored that together a lot, and things just dropped away for me around all sorts of things. I'd seen how not only had I got into a mess around work and taken on lots of responsibility that wasn't mine, I'd also been hugely looking for my okayness and my happiness in relationships, and I'd gone out and created all sorts of unhealthy relationships because of that, because I was dependent and needy and insecure, and and again, I'm sure people will resonate with that, because that, it seems to be something that human beings get lost in, insecurity. And so I just started to see massive things around kind of relationships and friendships and kind of romantic relationships. And then just relationships across the board shifted for me with my family, and my sister and I are extremely close. And that wasn't the case a few years ago, I can tell you. We just weren't. And she's my best friend now, and my partner and I, we've been together a
You seized up there, and just on the crux of your relationship. Have we lost you? Well, while we're waiting for Beck to come back, I have to say that I noticed something very similar in my relationships too. So, and I didn't realize for so many years. There you go, she's back.
I don't know what happened there, sorry about that.
Internet packed up on you, I think.
Yeah, I think it did.
So you just got to the crucial bit about my partner and I, and that was it. Then you disappeared.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get any of that bit. Right. Okay. I'll start again. So yeah, one of the things that hugely changed for me, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the massive things that changed for me was with my partner. We've been together a long time. 16 years. And we definitely had an unhealthy relationship for a period of time in the middle of there somewhere. And that was coming from me believing that he had to behave a certain way for me to be okay. He had to turn up and do certain things. He had to say the right things. He had to behave in the right way. And that what I find really interesting about that now is how even those rules changed in my head. Like there were some days where he had to hold my hand so that I was okay, and other days he wasn't allowed to hold my hand. That wasn't right. So goodness knows how he was ever supposed to keep up with the rules when I didn't know them all. But they were the sorts of things that they're the things that have really dropped away for me, is that I can see now I start from a place of being okay, and then everything else follows.